Live, plugged in. We have superstars. Hello, superstar. Hi. Hi. Let's make sure our audio sounds good for the people. Right? Right? Oh, the front page reminding me to finish watching Bryson and Adam Sandler. That was a really, really good video. If you guys didn't catch that one. All right, audio sounds good. Oh, you're getting some good attention. He says, yeah, you can't practice if I stand here. Right? Right? Oh, is your sister coming? You can hear. I can hear her coming too. Oh, there she is. There she is. Coming in. Says I'm coming in. Hi. Yeah, we're just hanging. We're just hanging. I know, you need some attention too. Okay. Okay. We are going to do some practicing in a minute. If you guys decide you've had enough attention. Look at these superstars with their waggy tails. Yeah, oh, you wagging your tail for the people? Are you wagging your tail for the people? You too, buddy. You too, buddy. Hi. Oh, you guys happy? All right. Oh, that's a lot of licking. That's a lot of licking. Oh, thank you. Oh, your brother's stretching. Okay. Yeah, you happy guy? Oh, your sister's got a squeaky toy in there. She's got a squeaky toy. All right, guys. Now that I can catch my breath. 3 million views on the stream, or on the channel, excuse me. 3 million views on the channel is incredible. Very, very cool. Thank you guys very much for all the support. We're gonna hit as many 5-footers in a row as we can. And hang out, chat, answer your questions. All the good usual stuff. Oh, see, there we go. That's what I've been noticing. Some of that inside takeaway. So I've got these, they're called indoor tees. They're basically just, you know, large paperweights. There we go. Oh, we can talk about the round yesterday. I think our line is slightly too far to the left, but let's hit a few more before we adjust. Oh, not so bad. There we go. All right, guys. So the personal best on the channel, 208 consecutive makes. We did that live the other night. That was really fun. It did make me, you know, kind of have a thirst or a desire for more tournament golf. There's just something about that intensity that I really enjoy. And knowing that it's just you out there, right? There's no one coming to save you. And you got to get the ball in the hole 18 times. And I played like 15 really, really good holes. All right, 10 in a row. That'll get your day started. We still have the extremely official scoreboard tracker. So we'll note that we're up to 10. 2,840 subs on the channel now, guys. Super cool. Been about maybe 6-7 months now. 7 months almost since I first started doing YouTube. Probably only like 3-4 months since we started live streaming pretty consistently. Which I'll share is where really most of the subscriber growth comes from. Boom. Lucky number 11. So, seriously, I'm going to keep saying it a bunch on this stream tonight, but thank you guys. All the support, all the interaction, the comments and the likes, the shares. It all really adds up, you know, just with consistent effort on my part and you guys consistently showing up to support me. We're going to keep it going. Ashlyn said hi. Hey, Ashlyn. Welcome to the stream. All right. So no Pell's tutor tonight because we're just going to see how many we can make in a row. Boom. From 5 feet here. We do have these tees set up to create, you know, some sort of an arc gate, if you will, right? If it's, you know, the takeaway is too outside, it's going to run into this one and vice versa. So still getting some good practice in while we try to go on a long streak. Mike G said hi. Hey, Mike G. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for saying hi. It's always nice when people, you know, hang out for a few minutes and build up the courage to say hi. Even if that's all it is, I always appreciate that. Tell you what, guys, I did hit a lot of good putts yesterday. I had a couple 3 putts, but it's going to happen. You know, I did a good job of managing my game for most of the day. You know, managing myself and my, you know, my mental state, my commitment to the process. Just got a little loose with some decision making late in the round that cost me, but that's always gonna, you know, be a learning process. Quinn said hi. Hey, Quinn. Dad Pop says it is scientifically proven that listening to Kanye or King Von increases your golf skills by 83%. Well, now I know what I've been doing wrong all this time. Gretchen Wheeler said T. She definitely did. It seems to be that is a thing that happened. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Getting sloppy myself. Whoa. Didn't update the extremely official tracker, guys. Now up to 20 makes in a row. That magnet is no good. Gretchen says you wouldn't be allowed at most country clubs with those tats. That is an interesting but wrong opinion. I appreciate you sharing it to show the rest of us that, you know, people who maybe aren't as educated or current on how things are, that those people are still out there. They sometimes pop up. But Gretchen, I've played some of the best country clubs, private clubs all over the country, and I have never once had somebody tell me you need to do something differently. You know why? Because it's 2025. And if you still think that something like a tattoo is an important, judge of someone's character, then I think we might not be friends, and that's okay. Really happy with how the ball's rolling off the putter as we tick towards 30 in a row. Boom. It just shows you needed attention and had trauma. Wow, so I'm getting free psychoanalysis. I've already been a member of 2 private country clubs in my life. Thanks for asking, and they were thrilled to have me. Came second in the club championship 2 years ago. Lost on 18 in the final match. And you know what? Everybody who was there said, wow, you played really well. They didn't say it would be better if you didn't have those tattoos. It's just not a thing that happened. But hey, all right, that was fun for a while, but Matthew says, keep up the good work, dog. Love seeing someone grind those 3 to 4 footers. Thanks. We're out here at 5 feet on the dot. Time to update our official score tracker. 30 in a row. You know, I can tolerate some ignorance to a point, but when it becomes, intentionally hostile, it's not the kind of place that I'm trying to manifest on these live streams. So you interact with it for a little while, you hope that they kind of keep it moving, and then when they don't, you go, okay, this is not a democracy. See you later. This live stream is a definitionally authoritarian regime. And I'm in charge. What's my handicap? Currently in the 2s. 2.9, I think, last I saw. But we've been working through some demons on the golf course recently. I started the year at like plus 0.8, I think, like almost plus 1. And so we've lost almost 4 shots throughout the season already to this point, but that's okay. There's been a lot of reasons for that. So that's why I am going to continue grinding it out, putting in the work. Both here inside on the putting green and hitting balls outside. Wes said hi. Hey, what's up, Wes? Thanks for checking out the stream again. Boom. Really enjoying the roll that I can tell. The putters put such a nice end over end roll when you deliver it properly. Although it was a little jarring to see a video of Charlie Woods rolling in a putt with the same DF3 lab putter, and I was like, man, that thing looks horrible. And I just instantly was like, well, that's what everybody else is going to, that's what everybody else is going to think when they see this one, but that's okay. If it rolls the ball into the hole. Lex said debate. Tell me more what you mean by debate. This isn't typically a debate forum. Try dying pace. That's a good idea, generally for all of us. Very important, especially as the break increases. Right, that you have to match the speed and the line. Do you like that pace better? Bass? Yappy Gilmore. That's an okay chirp. I don't think Bass will be happy until the ball is, you know, hanging on the front lip and barely dipping in. Charles Nutrition, I just ordered some Tacoma clubs. YouTube talked me into it. Well, I've been there, my friend. That's how I ended up with these in my bag. I have thought about going back to the blades, but we'll see. That might be an off-season type decision. But yeah, really, I have like the 301 CBs. I'm just not convinced that, you know, the trade-offs in the spin for me is worth it, but they definitely feel good. They're nice clubs. They look really good at address. All right, guys, working towards 40 in a row from 5 feet. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. Trish said hi. Hey, Trish. ADJ is here. Hey, ADJ. 301 CB. Yep, you nailed it, dude. Creed said hi. Never enough outdoors. That's a cool name. All right, guys, this is for 39 in a row from 5 feet with our new Lab DF3 putter. Rolling it quite nicely at the moment. Love it. Telling you. When you make it in the big time, this is the kind of quality scoreboard that you get. All right? Just doesn't get any better than that. Charleston said, I ordered the 201s, can't wait to try them. Yeah, I'm excited to hear. Come back and tell me what you think once you get a chance to try them. Nick said, how's the Lab putter? Saw something similar but different at golf store. I think there is certainly, again, I've tried a lot of putters. I've been a bad putter for a long time. Especially on short putts, I do think there is something to this zero torque, you know, extremely stable face, high MOI kind of idea. Clearly it's catching on because all the, you know, TaylorMade and Odyssey and Bettinardi, all these companies are making them now. Could it be another fad in golf? Sure. But I've enjoyed the little time that I've had with it so far. And I will say I had a lab broomstick most of last season. That was a terrible failed experiment. But again, I think that was more a function of my inability to adjust to the broomstick on lag putts. But on inside of 10 feet, it was awesome. You could just tell how stable it was. The ball wanted to start on line. Uidi said, did you know that plastic is made from petrol? I did know that. Asphalt too. Yeah, it's everywhere. I played golf with someone who once told me that they were a petrochemical lobbyist. And I think that was the last we spoke. Just seems like a really crazy way to be like, I'm going to spend, 40 to 80 hours a week and try to make my living this way. Which I think really is the whole problem with, everybody wanting in our current society to accumulate wealth in the way that they do. It's like a disease. Greed is a disease. Like if we saw that behavior in an animal, enriching itself at the expense of its, other animals, we'd be like, man, there might be something wrong with that. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of a cancer cell. Don't forget. All right, guys, that's 50 in a row. Drop a like on the stream for 50 in a row. First of many, you got a sub. Thanks very much, U80. I appreciate you. James, thoughts on Happy Gilmore 2? I thought it was great. I really liked they did a nice job, paying tribute to the first one. There was a cool new storyline that was, topical, some good jokes, right? I really enjoyed how much interaction or, a part of the movie Scotty and Rory and the pros were. That was super cool. Up to 50. And because Uedi told us that he is a new subscriber, we get to update the subscriber number to 2841. Very cool. Thanks again, Uedi. Hood Skaters is back. Me again. Great stuff, brother. Tips on takeaway thoughts and turning enough on backswing. Good question, Hood Skaters. Thanks for coming back to the stream, checking it out again. I appreciate you. Let me grab a club because this will be good to take a break from putting and stretch my back a little bit. Okay, so thoughts on the takeaway. I like to think of it in really two pieces, two parts, right? The first half being until the club gets back to, parallel to the ground. And then the second half being, up into the finish, right? First part, what I try to think about, step number one, the first half, keep that club head as wide as you can, out away from your body, so the hands stay in, club goes out, right? Then we start to turn, the arms lift. The club stays right on that plane, right, as we turn. So step one, nice and wide. Step two, turn. And that's about it. That's, pretty simple two-step way to make a backswing. Wes said, off golf topic, what kind of music are you into? I listen to a lot of, this is going to sound very stupid as a person who looks like this, but a lot of like punk rock, Good Charlotte, Sum 41, like early 2000s kind of stuff, that blends into like the Killers and, Blink-182, that kind of stuff. I love Green Day. I've always liked them. Wes says, do you have any merch yet? No, I do not have any merch. Is that a thing that you would be interested in? I'm not sure exactly what it would be, but maybe we could come up with something like, like Keep Working Hard hats and t-shirts. you know, I like that as sort of, or we could do swing hard always. I like saying that on my videos too. I got to start using that in videos more again. The idea with that was not, obviously, it's not golf advice, guys. It's not like you got to swing hard at every shot. It's, if you want to try something new or get back into something old, you got to take a big swing at it sometimes. That's really what we were trying to get at with swing hard always. So maybe it could be something like that, that's, you know, branded and that only people on the stream would know about. Man, I only have 43 subscribers. Well, just keep at it, Wes, right? I remember when I was devastated when I went from 19 to 20 and then back to 18 subscribers. I was like, oh man, like what am I doing wrong? My video's not good. And you know, now I'm coming up on 3,000 subscribers. It feels kind of silly to, you know, but I understand the, you know, in the moment when you're trying to build a platform and grow a subscriber count, you know, you can kind of live and die by those, you know, day by day pluses and minuses. My best advice would be just, you know, try to ignore it as best you can, stick doing with what you're doing. And if you're passionate about it and you find a way to make content that's compelling, you know, the audience will be there. I think that's true of pretty much everything. David, what kind of cereal do you have? I'm like a Golden Grams. I like sugary cereal, which is a bad habit. Jesse, except I'm left-handed, so I'm not learning anything, not gonna lie. Well, I can, you know, try to make things relevant for a left-handed player. If you have specific questions, or, you know, there are fields we could talk about, or kind of general positions to get into. Dylan said hello. Hey, Dylan. Jesse said hi. Hey, Jesse. And there's a shirt, LOL. Say less said, love the mullet, dog. I appreciate that. Thank you. Although, my hair is just long all around. But certainly with the hat on, I feel the mullet energy is strong. One of my favorite comments I saw on the channel recently, I posted that video of me shanking a short iron on a par 3. And somebody commented, I was convinced it was Fleetwood until he shanked it. And I was like, you know, people on the driving range, like strangers, have said that to me. Like, you look like Tommy Fleetwood. And I guess I kind of swing like him. My iron swing's pretty short and abbreviated. So I certainly can see the comparison, but that was a comment that really made me laugh. I feel really fortunate, guys. I think maybe it's a function of, you know, putting positive energy out into the world. That's what you get back, you know, or it's just golf as a community. But I think it's like 95% really, really positive engagement. People, you know, are supportive or have funny things to say. You know, people try to warn you when you first start, like, trying to build a platform like this. Like, man, you got to watch out for the crazy people on the internet, you know. So I feel very fortunate that you guys have really been so supportive. And like I said in the title of the stream, right, we're here to celebrate 3 million views. I mean, in like 6.5 months. That's crazy to me, guys. So crazy. Really, really has blown away my wildest expectations. And I'm still having a ton of fun with it, right? You know, I get excited to have time to stream, whether it's in here or out back, you know, hitting balls with our net return. So like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, but thank you guys. Logan, you should record yourself playing around sometime. Would be cool to see. I have great news for you, Logan. There are some videos on the channel of me playing golf. And there will be another one very soon. I recently filmed a match, a 9-hole match with a buddy of mine who I played with in college and still play a lot of golf with, who's another really, really good player. And we just played a straight up, you know, no strokes, no handicap, 9-hole match. So I'm probably about 80 to 85% of the way done with the editing. And that'll be out as soon as we can. But great idea, Logan. We're going to try and do more of that. Say Less said, never mind. Azzy said, can you do a flip? I definitely can't. I definitely can't. We could rename the stream Washed Up Golfer Attempts a Backflip and Breaks His Neck live on the internet. That would kind of be what we'd have to do to even get there. Grant said, where is the dog? Great question. Great question. I think they're sleeping at the moment. But let's see. Maybe if we make it to 60 in a row, currently at 53. If we make it to 60 in a row, we can get the dogs back in here to say hello. Mr. J said sup. Hey, Mr. J. Appreciate you. All right, that's 55. Long way to go until 208, guys. I hope you can see on the extremely official tracker down there, but the PR on the channel is 208 from this distance, from 5 feet. We did that the other night. Pretty exciting. I was like, I'll stream for like 30, 45 minutes, hit some putts. Little did I know that it was one of those, like, we're just going to have to play until we lose type moments. And ended up making 208 in a row before missing, which is a nice confidence booster, I will say. To really feel like you can consistently start the ball on line from this range. Scoundrel says, hey, John, hope your turnaround went well. Glad to see you live. Thanks very much. I played like 15 really good holes and ended up coming in like, I don't even know what. I guess I would have to check, but 76, and the cut, I think, was 73. So missed the cut by a few, but I was really surprised at how good my game was, with the exception of, like I said, a couple holes that I think honestly were more strategic errors than anything. But I made some putts. I hit some good iron shots. If anything, I would say my driver kind of let me down and led to, again, it was just hitting driver on holes that I shouldn't have been in a qualifier. If you're playing around with your buddies and you're just trying to make birdies, sure, but holes I didn't need to hit driver on kind of cost me. So some good stuff to take away, right? Of course, it's disappointing not to shoot a good number, and I think I was even or one over through 13 holes, so it's kind of right there until the last few holes. With a chance to post a competitive number. So it's just obviously that's disappointing, but I'm trying to look at the positive of putting myself under pressure, seeing how my game held up, and being pleasantly surprised for the most part with mentally how calm I was out there. I had a really good group too, with a guy who was another good player. Logan said, sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. 47 Edits said hi. Hey, 47. Logan says, I'm 15, a high school golfer. I'm a 16 handicap. What can I do to shoot lower scores for my school matches? Good question, Logan. So, it feels like a long time ago now, but, not all that long ago. I was in your shoes trying to, get better and try to be I remember being like the number 2 player on the team. You're like, man, I just want to be number 1. How do I, continue getting better? So I would say take advantage of some, the advantages you have, right? If you're in high school, you get time off in the summer. So you can, if you can find a way to practice, you have, ostensibly some amount of time. I remember practicing for like 3, 4, 5 hours at a time sometimes in high school when I had time. Just, around a chipping green, hitting putts, finding ways to score, right? You can come up with little games, scoring games. You can play 9 holes on, around the putting green as a par 2, right? So try and get up and down as many times as you can to different pin positions, different lies in the rough or the fairway, depending on, what you have access to when you're practicing. So learning how to score, right? Practicing short game, that's an easy one, right? That doesn't cost any money. Assuming you have a way to get to a public putting green or chipping green that you can practice at, which, I hope you do. Or, maybe the school could help you find one or get you access to a place to practice if you didn't have it. What else? So if you're a 15 handicap, right, that means that, you can play okay golf at times, right? Your ball striking might be somewhat inconsistent. Maybe your scoring around the greens isn't great. two things I want to say. Number one, when it comes to your swing, spend a lot of time working on impact, right? How do you deliver the club into the ball to hit the center of the face, both laterally, right? Not on the heel, not on the toe, and vertically, so that you're hitting it in the center, right? In that sweet spot, you know, as often as you possibly can, right? And the way to practice that technique is to go really, really slow and hit a bunch of balls with like a, you know, 40%, 30% type swing, right? Maybe like waist to waist. And you're just going to practice, like, what do I have to do to consistently deliver the center of that club onto the ball, right? And you have to master that part of golf before you really start trying to add a bunch of speed. Because if you just go to the range and you go, okay, I'm going to practice my 9 irons, and I just hit 15 straight 9 irons at 100% speed, and, you know, and if I hit a bad one, I just go grab another one, and if I hit a good one, I watch it and I feel good about myself, right? But, you know, you're kind of just replicating the randomness of the shots that you're going to produce on the golf course, right? So you're still going to hit that, like, you know, thin, flary one that you don't like and you just go grab another ball, right? What I would rather see people do to try to improve, if you want to actually get better at golf, is, you know, break these things down. You can practice execution at full speed, right? Where you have a pre-shot routine and you're picking a target, right? You're evaluating the wind, you know, so you know that flag's 150 yards, but the wind's into me and it's off the left and I play a fade, so I probably need to aim further left and maybe hit more club. You know, if it was normally a 9, I'd hit an 8. And then I go through my whole process. I pull the club, you know, I make my practice swing behind the ball. I step into it, I, you know, hit it at my target, and I give myself a check or not a check, right? Did I execute the shot? Did I strike it nicely? Did it fly, you know, and end up, you know, towards my target, right? That's execution practice you can do at full speed. But for technique practice, I think it's really, really important to slow it down, right? And just learn within the confines of your own body and feels and athletic knowledge, right? How do I get this club face onto that golf ball, right? If you're at the driving range, you know, grab a 9 iron maybe and try to hit it 40 yards, right? But you want to hit it nice and straight. You want to compress that ball, right? Hit the ball first and then the turf. Hopefully that helps, Logan. Tulsa, Oklahoma City, 918, bro. Brother, good video. YouTube, good. Thanks very much. That sounds great. A good mindset and consistency is a wonderful thing. I'm struggling with slower swings during range practice. Always feel like I'm hacking and getting stuck. Moses says, hi, John. Hi, everyone. Hey, Moses. Thanks for being here. So if you feel like you're getting stuck, scoundrel, you know, try to maybe break it down even further, right? Like if you made a, take the club back to like your knee, right? Almost just start chipping the ball and just try to really feel how your body wants to move to deliver that club head, right? But if you're feeling stuck with the slow swings, you know, again, I would tell you to look at some video of your swing, see if there's any obvious, like, oh, I'm really leaning back on it, you know, when I make those slow swings and trying to help it up. That could be, you know, a feeling of getting stuck, like if you're going, you know, kind of on the back foot. You know, if the club's getting really inside, right, really early, then you're trying to go slow, then you might start, you know, kind of getting underneath it and feeling stuck that way. So hard to say without seeing the swing, but, you know, again, I think, number one, identify what it is, you know, if there's something glaring in the motor pattern that you need to address. But from there, it's really just, you know, a lot of practice and like trying to feel comfortable, you know, how do I get this club face onto that golf ball in order to, you know, achieve my goals of hitting the ball first, hitting the center of the club face, and, you know, having a face to path relationship that, you know, has the ball fly, the trajectory of the ball fly pretty straight through the air. Say less. Do you remember me? Of course. Grant, if the dogs are sleeping, you can leave them alone. I don't want to wake them up. Oh, that's very nice of you, Grant. Logan says, it helps, thanks. Jack said hi. Hey, Jack. Abu Bakar said, hi, uncle. Can I get a hiya? How's that? Hiya. Dogs. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? What? Oh, look at your tail. Look at those tails. Oh, kissing. Oh, kissing. Hi. 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 What are you doing? Were you snoozing? Were you snoozing? Oh, kissing. Look at your tail wagging. Say, oh, say, I'm a happy girl. You're a superstar. See, the people love when the doggos are here. Drop a like for the doggos. Drop a like for the doggos. Oh, look at that tail. Look at that tail. Let's see a boop. DJ Wood is here. What's up, DJ? Scoundrel said, thanks, brother. We'll take some video at the range tomorrow, get some more insight. Got an early round on Saturday before 7 a.m. Wow, that's early. I'm also playing Friday at, even earlier than that, 6:40, I think. Hi. Boop. Boop. Oh, shit, what are you doing? I'm supposed to be the one doing the kissing here. I know, you love to lick. I think you like it more than Dad likes it. Why? Wes says, please gently tap the thumbs up and subscribe. Amazing. Thanks very much, Wes. I appreciate the support. I do think there is something to, trying to build momentum with the live streams. I noticed that, the more I do it day after day, like, truly on a daily basis, the numbers seem to stay higher. But yeah, drop a like for the best dogs in the world. And I have good news. If you're like, hey, I have a dog, well, good news. Your dog is also the best dog in the world. That's how dogs work. Scoundrel, also, if you want, when you take video of your swing, right, take it down the line, from behind you and one from face on, right? If you follow me on Instagram, you can send me those videos and I can give you some analysis or some insight, whatever, if there's things that stick out or are kind of glaring. I'm happy to do that. I've done that for some other subscribers and followers. So go check out my Instagram, guys. Same as here, John Young Golf. We're having fun over there, trying to learn, totally different platform and okay, so Alpine says, I have a round in under an hour. Any advice? Sorry, I didn't get back to your question. Any advice? Have fun, right? Golf's a great opportunity to get outside, spend time with, people you enjoy. If you're able to play with friends, it's a good opportunity to spend time in nature, spend time with ourselves, with our thoughts. There's so many things you can be grateful for anytime you're getting out to play around in golf, right? Physically being able to do so. My advice would be, if I were to give you one piece of actual golf advice, it would be, don't be a hero. Hit it in the woods, chip it back to the fairway, hit it on the green, just try to make a bogey, right? I've been trying really hard to tell myself when I do get in those recovery situations, like, all right, goal here is make a bogey. Let's make a good bogey. We're going to get this ball back in play, like safely. Then we're going to hit it on the green, and we're going to try to make a putt. And if we don't, we're going to tap it in for a bogey, and that's totally fine. So don't be a hero. Lovely. All right, so this putt now will be for 63 in a row. Trippadoodle said, hey, what's up? Thinking about getting a spider. What edition do you think works best? I think, just try them out. Try some different ones. You might like the face balance one or the plumber's neck they have now too. This is a kind of a small slant neck version. Try to get on a putting green and, you know, roll a couple different versions. Hey, John, sorry to take the topic away from golf. Don't be sorry. Did I miss your question, Moses? Scoundrel said, awesome, let's go. I would love that. Thanks so much. We'll definitely do that. Very cool. Compsci said, let's go. Hey, Compsci, welcome back. Alan said hi. Hey, Alan. $63 in a row. All right, let's try to rattle off a bunch in a row here. This is for 64. Nice. Really been striking the putter nicely with this left-hand low grip that we've gone to. Again, I think, you know, I've done this in the past. I putted this way for a long time, but had gone away from it. And, you know, I think just leveling out the shoulder some has really helped with striking the center of the putter. All right, guys, 2 more to 70. So you know what this one's for. This one is for 69 in a row. Nice. Nice. All right, for 70 in a row. Boom, let's go. And another dog came to say hi. Hello. Hello. Are you impressed, buddy? He's like, I don't care. I don't care how many putts you make. I just want my boops. Boop. Alan said, bro. Hey, bro. Happy Gilmore 2. Thoughts, anyone? Nostalgia for the win for me. I agree with that take. I really enjoyed the, you know, homage to the original one. You know, there were lots of callbacks and, you know, references to the original one. But they did a great job, I thought, of incorporating some new themes and jokes. I loved the, you know, how much screen time like Scotty and Rory and the actual PGA players got. That was awesome. All right, guys, 70 in a row. So the way this works is you got to stay in the stream and hang out until we miss. I don't make the rules. Those are the rules. And if we get to 100, then you subscribe. How's that sound for rules? I just made them up. But like I said earlier, this is my stream. It's not a democracy. I'm obviously kidding. Please subscribe at your will. And I'm very grateful if you do choose to do so. You know. What else can we talk about? Oh, I've got more therapy coming up. That's pretty exciting. I've been doing that now for another, like, the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I've already, really noticed a difference. It's something I've done before and was, monumentally helpful for me in my life, in the last 3 to 4 years. And, got to a really good place and was doing great. And I, still am doing great, but, do you have those moments of like, could I be better? How do I be my best self? And decided to go back and start doing the therapy again. And it's a really, really great tool, guys. Especially for men who, we struggle. It's not super socially acceptable still to, openly talk about your mental health or ask your friends how they're doing. And I want to try to change that to some extent, right? I've had friends, a couple specifically who, tough points in my life were like, hey man, are you okay? Like, is your mental health doing okay? And that was really, really eye-opening for me to be like, wait, you can just say that to someone? Like, you can just ask your friend, like, how they're doing? And it sounds very simple, but, again, I know because that was my reaction in real time was like, whoa, So I know that other people are out there feeling that way, and I just want to, talk about this stuff openly, because that's a good way to normalize it. Have it become more normal. Is just to openly talk about it. Right? These are things that people struggle with. For me, anxiety and just really feeling overwhelmed, is something that I struggle with, and my mental health isn't great all the time. And therapy is a great tool to, try to build those skills. Anthony said, yes, Daddy, whatever you say. Jackson said hi. Hey, Jackson. 7-Eleven was a part-time job. Steel melt. Can't jet fuel. Maximum collision. Okay. Mindfulness and cognitive behavioral therapy helped me with my anxiety. Glad you're getting help. Yeah, so the CBT stuff is awesome. That's some of what I do as well. And I think for me, it was helpful to at least, in my own mind, understand that like this is just a tool that I can go back to. It's not like a thing that I had to do for a certain period of time and then I was fixed. Like, there's going to be new challenges and new developments in your life over time, and it's just a great way to have a resource in a really unbiased way, right? Even if you do have a great support system like I do now, it can be hard sometimes because you're like, well, sometimes that person is also dealing with their own stuff or the same thing that I'm struggling with, right? So it can be hard to say like, hey, do you want to hear about how I'm struggling? They're like, yeah, dude, I get it. Like we're going through that together. But with therapy, it's just an unbiased, open door. It's really, and it's not just like oh, I'm going to sit down for an hour and talk about how I feel, right? There's a skill building process, right, that I've learned through therapy. The same way when you're like learning how to play golf, right? You learn, how to hit the ball, and then you learn how to hit the ball in the center of the face, and then you learn how to hit the, different clubs, different distances, right? You're building your skill set. It's the same thing in learning how to take care of your brain. And therapy, therapists specifically are there to help you build those skills. The same way in golf that different people have different skills. You could be a really good driver of the ball and not a good putter. You might need to develop different things in different moments or for different situations, right? Because that, if you can swing super, super fast, that's great. But if you have to hit a, 6-yard chip shot onto a downslope on a firm green, like you don't need a full swing shot. You need soft hands and, a little bit of finesse, right? So for me, it's just a way to continue building that skill set. And, again, my goal in talking about this stuff is that people feel empowered to, normalize these conversations in their own lives. Because I've had people do it for me and it made a difference for me. I think I'm a better, happier person as a result of doing that work. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys it's easy. Like I was petrified. It took me weeks and weeks to actually like call and make the appointment to be like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to like go to therapy. For whatever reason, that felt like a huge hurdle, to get over, even just to start, because I was scared, right? If I'm being honest, I was scared of like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'm going to find out things I don't like about myself. Maybe I'm going to say things I don't like, right? And it's not all those fears, while I think are very valid, were unfounded, right? I did not experience them. I know not everyone's experience is the same, but having that experience and the ability to go to therapy has really changed my life for the better. Compsci said, self-awareness is a superpower. You're already there, bro. Oh, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know. I'm always trying to get better. But people have told me that before. Naju said, trick shot. All right, guys, this is for 70 in a row. What kind of trick shot could we do? We could try and hit it with a putter, or with a wedge. What's a trick shot? Hit it with a putter. That's not a trick shot, guys. Let's hit it with a wedge. This is for 70 in a row. This is going to count, so if we miss, that'll be the end of this streak. But this is a trick shot for Naiju. How about this? If I make it with the wedge, you guys are still in here, hit that subscribe button for me, all right? We're going to try to roll this in. Oh, no, I yanked it right off the face. Terrible. Terrible. You know what that does mean, though, guys? Streak's going to end at 79, which is a good number. 79 is a good number. Green Bean said, hello, I eat chalk. Tell me about it. Tell me, when you eat chalk, is it the texture that you enjoy? I'd like to know more about the flavor as well. I imagine it tastes like chalk, but tell me in your own words, how do you feel about the taste of chalk? And then last question, what is the driving force? Like, when you stand up from whatever you're doing and you say, you know what, it's time. It's time to go get the chalk, to eat it. What is the thing in your mind is like, man, it's just, I'm going to really enjoy chomping on it. It's going to taste great. Like, what is motivating you in that moment to stand up and say, chalk time? Biresh said, slay girl, ignore those hate comments. Thanks very much, Suresh. Like I was saying earlier, fortunately, haven't had to deal with too much in the way of that. Occasionally, we'll get somebody who's like, or I had somebody earlier who was like, bro, with your tattoos, you won't be allowed in any country club in the world. And I was like, wow, that's like a big, there's so many country clubs. Not to mention, like, obviously that's just wrong. I played like some incredible country clubs, some private clubs. Never once have I had somebody be like, man, we were gonna let you play golf here, but we saw that you had tattoos, now you gotta get out of here. There are obviously places, you know, because of, out of respect, like, you know, maybe I wear pants. But again, I've never once had somebody aggressively, you know, respond that way on the golf course. Green Bean says it's very tasty and the texture is amazing and it's going to be yums. All right, well, that was an honest, a really good answer to my question about chalk, so I appreciate the thorough follow-up. Not much more you can hope for than that, right? Good taste, good texture. AJN said, good afternoon from New Delhi, India. Very cool. Very, very cool. One of my favorite things about streaming is, you know, getting to interact with people from all over the world, right? With the exception of Antarctica, I'm pretty sure we've had, you know, viewers from all the continents. Let's find New Delhi. There it is. Northern India, guys. Right there. So, not far from where you are in New Delhi. I have visited, I've been to Nepal. Spent some time in Kathmandu. Saw the Himalayas. Really, really cool trip. You know, honestly, one of my favorite trips we've done. Very grateful to have had that experience and have got to visit Nepal. Some of the best food I've had traveling too, by the way, guys, in Nepal. Startling level of poverty. You know, again, it makes you super, super grateful for the things that we have, you know, I'm speaking as an American, that we fully take for granted, right? And there are people all across the world who would, you know, trade places with you in a heartbeat. So, you know, traveling has definitely radicalized me pretty aggressively. You know, the things that we complain about, the way that we choose to spend our resources, right? I'm just like, well, we have, you know, lots of issues, but like, what about more concentration camps? How about, what if we just build some of those? So it's extremely disappointing and frustrating as an American to see the resources and the ability, like the capacity to build and make things, and it's all just pointed in these awful directions, right? I don't usually talk about this stuff on my channel, but I feel quite strongly about it, and I'm just gonna keep talking about it, I think, now. It's pretty appalling. It's really sad. It's frustrating. It's embarrassing, right? Like, I have an American flag tattooed on me that I used to be pretty proud of, and I definitely don't feel that way anymore. In fact, I feel a little bit ashamed of it. You know, I really, I struggle with this idea of like, we shouldn't talk about these things. It's a really tough moment. It's a really tough moment. And the worst part is it didn't have to be this way. It really didn't. You know, we've been taught, right, that it's you know, left versus right or Democrats versus Republicans, and it's all a lie. It's just a huge lie to make people mad at each other, to let rich people continue pilfering the labor of, you know, the rest of us, right? Is it safe to have 5 bottles of ibuprofen? Certainly not. Myra said, hi, I'm so far. Hey, Michael. I'm doing well. How are you, Michael? Visit India. You will love it, brother. You can sleep in my house with my family. Very welcome, sir. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. I appreciate it. Oh, and my lovely wife has just come home from a long day of work. Hi. Hi. I'm very happy you're home. Yeah. Oh, another superstar. Also, should I go all red? Come to Saudi, Habibi. I've never been to Saudi. I did a layover in Dubai. Softness, delicate, crisp structure, brittle, just wow. Chalk. Yeah, I'd love to spend more time in that part of the world. Egypt was also one of my favorite trips I've done. You know, certainly not a perfect parallel to Saudi Arabia, but again, just some incredible food, very warm people, right? So I met some incredibly like generous people, and I'm like, you know, I can see what your life is like you know, and they just don't care, right? They're like, you know, we're gonna give you what we have because that's what we do. That's how our culture is. And yeah, again, it really is a good way to, you know, learn about the world and you know, change your perspective on things. So I'm incredibly grateful to have those experiences, to have seen other places and other countries. No, stay positive on USA, bro. Still the best bet for individual freedom. But yes, two-party system sucks either way. Capitalistic issues. Yeah, I think it's more a problem with like the idea of capital driving all kinds of things. Like, I used to work in the real estate world, and I really have come to become extremely cynical about that whole, you know, all the time I spent doing it. And it's just like, oh, you don't want to sleep outside? That's going to cost you. Because we've turned these things into investment products instead of housing for people who would live in them. It's a way for rich people to make money, right? And those are different things, and you have to treat them differently. And because we have one and not the other, you have what we have all across America, right? Is this massive wealth divide, and you know, it's extremely unaffordable everywhere. Personally, I had my rent go up more than 30% more than 1 year in a row. I mean, that's like, it just, how does that happen? That doesn't, you know, shouldn't be a thing that happens. Twin says, do you have Cash App? I don't think I have Cash App, but you can support the channel, you know, with the super chats, or there's some other ways to do that on the channel. But even better, if you're like, hey, I have an extra 20 bucks in my pocket, give it to the Red Cross or to somebody who's going to do good work with it. I'm thrilled to have your support, but I'm doing okay for right now. So, you know, give your money to somebody who's going to do some good stuff with it. Green Bean said, I got to go. Bye. Thanks for being here, Green Bean. Good stream. Going to watch Bill and Ted with my girlfriend. We'll catch you a bit later if you're still alive. Have a good night, brother. Thanks very much, Scoundrel. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, my dude. Greetings from the southernmost state of Brazil. Very cool, Fanatic. Let's check out Brazil on our globe. I've been doing this when people come in from they say hi from other places. I'm like looking at the globe to see where they are. It's pretty cool. All right. So southern Brazil over here. Not been to Brazil yet, brother. I've been to Argentina. My wife and I were there just before we took the boat to Antarctica. Spent a few days in Buenos Aires and ate some incredible food. Met some wonderful people there too. Great day here in Brazil today. USA applied the Magnitsky Act to one of the judges of our Supreme Court who've been doing a lot of shits here. TBH. Okay, I didn't fully follow you, Fanatic, but maybe I'll do some reading about that. I would love to travel to Ireland. Ireland is a place I'm going myself pretty soon. Very excited about that trip coming up.
2 weeks?
I know. Yeah, 2 weeks, guys. We're going to have to get pretty creative if we're going to do live streams from Ireland. I'm not sure what the plan is, but you know, we'll hopefully get some content queued up, and there will be good stuff on the channel for you guys to enjoy while I'm away. Myra, I was in Britain and visited London, Scotland, Edinburgh, and Dundee, and I love traveling like you. I love UK. Very cool, Myra. We went to Scotland for my wife's 30th birthday, which was a fantastic trip. Spent a bunch of time up in Isle of Skye. Beautiful part of the world. Some of the most peaceful, you know, landscapes and skies that I've ever seen. Has a very kind of mystical, ancient feeling to it, that part of the world. My wife's boyfriend locked me out of the room and I hear them giggling there. What should I do? That feels like a personal problem.
Your wife's boyfriend?
Yeah. Need Davidson's tattoo removal. Oh, Xander said need tattoo removal, and I bet this guy's a 20 handicap. Those are good guesses, Xander, but you might be wrong on both counts. Greetings from Bumfuck, Alabama. We help send man to moon here. There's your hint. Figure it out. LOL. Well, welcome from Alabama. I hope that your state continues to invest in their public education. Compsci, amazing. $4.99 super chat. Thanks very much, my dude. You didn't have to do that. Keep crushing it and fighting the good fight. Beer on me. P.S. Denmark is a fun trip from U.S. Funny enough, we did spend half a day in Copenhagen, and we both were like, gotta spend more time here. This seems like a very cool place. Just a really modern city, like clean, really cool people. Wes says, I'm jealous. Safe travels. Hope you have an awesome time. Thanks very much.
Are they from Philly?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. They say use in Philly. Use guys. That's only Coleman / below LMAO. Okay. I'm not sure I'm fully following you, gaming, but I appreciate the support on the channel. That's going to be all the time we have tonight, guys. Thanks very much for being here. Stay tuned to the channel. Hit that subscribe button for me if you want to get notifications. Drop one more like. And we will see you next time. Oh, you're right. The RTJ courses are awesome. I played a few of those. Yeah, really, really good golf down in Alabama. Don't talk bad about the Alabama golf scene. I agree with that, gaming. Good point, gaming. All right. Thanks very much, Wes. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.